Roman numeral 1. Test is a tool to measure a trait. Roman numeral 2. Measurement is the process of qualifying a given trait. Roman 3. Assessment is the gathering of quantitative and qualitative data. Roman numeral 4. Evaluation is the analysis of quantitative and qualitative data for decision making. Letter A, 1 and 2 only. B, 2 and 4 only. C, 1, 2, and 3. Letter D, 1, 3, and 4. Next number 3, which is referred to as assessment of learning. A, formative assessment. B, summative assessment. C, traditional assessment. D, authentic assessment. Next number 4. Which attribute belongs more to traditional assessment? Letter A, performing a task. Letter B, selecting a response. Letter C, direct evidence. Letter D, real life. Number 5, between a driver who passed the written test but failed the driving test and one who passed the driving test but failed the written test, the latter is generally preferred, but most preferred is the one who passed both written and driving tests. What does this imply about assessment practice? Letter A. Authentic assessment is preferred to traditional assessment. Letter B. Traditional assessment is more reliable than authentic assessment. Letter C. Traditional assessment supplements authentic assessment. Letter D. Traditional and authentic assessments cannot adequately measure what is intended to be measured. Number 6, does teaching to the test mean? What does teaching to the test mean? A, teachers teach by focusing primarily on those that will be tested. B, teachers teach in such a way that students perform well on meaningful tasks. Letter C, teachers use tests to teach. Letter D, teachers begin and end instruction with a test. Number 7, assessment should be multiple and varied. What does this mean? 1, sufficient number of samples of student performance must be obtained. 2, use different tools to determine students' application of learning. 3, cater to the multiple intelligences. Letter A, 1 and 2. B, 1 and 3. C, 2 and 3. D, 1, 2, and 3. Number 8, which are true of a portfolio? By means of a portfolio, 1, teachers can assess the growth and development of the students at various levels. 2, students can display any work they want to display. 3, parents have a concrete picture of their children's progress in school. 4, instructional supervisors have a concrete basis in evaluating their academic program. Letter A, 1 and 2. Letter B, 1 and 3. Letter C, 2 and 3. Letter D, 3 and 4. Number 9, teacher Rose likes to determine whether or not a student is able to focus the microscope according to set standards. Which assessment tool will she use? Letter A, performance checklist. Letter B, self-report. Letter C, letter D, observation report. Number 10, read this test item, then answer the question. Criterion reference tests. Letter A, refers to how a test is constructed. Letter B, refers to how a test is interpreted rather. Letter C, refers to how a test is scored. Letter D, refers to how a passing score is established. What is wrong with the test item? Letter A, very easy. Letter B, repeated options. Letter C, no answer. Letter D, poor grammar. Number 11, read the test item, then answer the question. The population of Denmark is about letter A, 2 million. Letter B, 15 million. Letter C, 4 million. Letter D, 7 million. What is a flaw with a test item? A, options not sequenced. B, insignificant. C, irrelevant. D, limited options. Number 12, a teacher constructs a test blueprint prior to writing items for a test to ensure test blank. Letter A, validity. Letter B, scorability. Letter C, reliability. Letter D, fairness. Next number 13. The learning specialist administers a set of tests to identify specific weakness in mixed learning processes. This type of tests are known as blank tests. Letter A, diagnostic. B, aptitude. C, intelligence. D, formative. Number 14, which is a feature of an imperfect matching type of test? Letter A, an answer may be repeated. Letter B, the items in the two columns are not equal. Letter C, items on the left and right columns have one-to-one correspondence. Letter D, its premises are vague. Am I still with you, class?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Next number 15, which is slash are non-restricted essay test items. 1, should the lawmakers' pork barrel be abolished? 2, what is meant by pork barrel? 3, trace the origin of pork barrel in the Philippines. Letter A, 1 only. B, 2 and 3. C, 2 only. D, 3 only. Next, 16. Validity is a unitary concept. What does this expression mean? A. Different types of tests are brought together to form a single valid assessment. B. A valid test is one that has a single purpose. C. There are no different kinds of validity, just different kinds of evidence of validity. And letter D, a valid test is one that has universal application in a variety of situations. Next number 17. Sample question frames such as, what would you infer from? What ideas can you add to? And how would you create a belong to what level in the old Bloom's taxonomy? Letter A, application. Letter B, synthesis. Letter C, comprehension. And letter D, analysis. Number 18, if you ask questions that will make students identify the organization and patterns within a system by identifying its component parts, you are asking questions on what level of Bloom's taxonomy. Letter A, synthesis. B, application. C, analysis. D, evaluation. Okay, number 19. One of the test items constructed by teacher Gina was suspected of being biased. This happens when blank. Letter A, students of equal ability with different demographic characteristics have an unequal probability of answering an item correctly. Letter B, students with different demographic characteristics have an equal probability of answering an item correctly. Letter C, students who have different levels of knowledge and skills have an equal probability of answering an item correctly. Letter D, students with equal exposure to the content being tested have an equal probability of answering an item correctly. Next number 20. Multiple choice tests can be used to test the ability to, one, recall memorized data. Two, apply theory to everyday situation. Three, apply theory to novel situation. That number 4, use judgment in analyzing, weighing, and evaluating. Letter A, 1 only. B, 1 and 2 only. C, 1, 2, and 3 only. Letter D, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Next, 21. Study the given score distribution, then answer the question below. What is the median? A, 14. B, 15. C, 16. D, 17. Next number, study the given score distribution, then answer the question below. What is the mean? A, 23.55. B, 24. C, 25. D, 26. Next number, study the given score distribution, then answer the question below. Is there a mode? Letter A, yes. Letter B, yes, there are 3. Letter C, yes, only 1, 15. Letter D, yes, only 1, 12. Next number, 24. Study the given score distribution, then answer the question below. In this case, which is or a more appropriate measures of central tendency? A, mean. B, mode. C, median. D, mode and median.
Oh,
Those students, kindly keep yourselves muted. Thank you. 25. The scores are in the middle in a blank score distribution. A, normal. B, mesokurtic. C, leptokurtic. D, platykurtic. 26. Which is true of the positively skewed distribution? A. Most scores are high. B. Most scores are low. C. Tests may be easy. D. Students learned very much. 27. If a given score distribution is a normal curve, which of the following applies? 1. Unimodal. 2. Symmetrical, just as many people above the mean as below the mean. 3. Bell-shaped. 4. Mean, mode, and median are all located in the center. Letter A, 1 and 2 only. Letter B, 2 and 3 only. Letter C, 2, 3, and 4 only. And letter D, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Number 28. Study the tabular data, then answer the question below. Which is the best question? Letter A, question number 1. Letter B, question number 2. Letter C, question number 3. And letter D, none. '29. What is the threshold percentage of prescribed number of school days that must be missed by a learner for him or her to obtain a failing grade? A, 10%. B, 15%. C, 20%. D, 25%. Last number, number 30. Math grades of grade 10 students in school A is a function of the following: written works, 40%, performance task, 40%, and quarterly assessment, 20%. What can be inferred from school A's grading system? A, grades are hardly earned by every student. B, grades are not important. C, grades is a function of multiple sources. D, failing a student is demotivated. Okay. Time's up. Are you all done, Edo graduates?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
How about
sir.
yung
Yes po,
iba?
sir.
Yes po.
Okay. So, pansinin nyo ha. Madali ba yung test? Slide. Okay, so, ayan. We now proceed with the answer and the answer portion of this review time. So we now proceed to the checking time. So kung 30 points yan, para masabi nating makapasa kayo, you must at least get a 75% of 30. Diba? So that's approximately 22.5 or 23. So dapat maka 23 tayo. Okay? So we now check it one by one. So number 1, I'd like to try number 1. Sige, kunin natin sa audience. Any volunteer? Sige, tatawag ako ng volunteer. What is your answer for this? Sige, number 1, let's hear it from Eliza May Morit. Miss Morit, read and answer. Miss Morit.
Hello, sir.
Ayan, you're now loud and clear.
Okay po. Okay po. Good afternoon po ulit. Number 1, who among the teachers described below is doing assessment? I answered letter A po. Mrs. Bautista, who is administering a test to her students.
Okay. Yung iba, what is your answer for letter number 1? Sige, use the chat box, please. Bakit letter A, Miss Morit? Justify your answer.
Ano po, sir? Yung assessment po kasi, di ba, yung tool, parang ito po yung way, parang magbigay ng tool to assess the number of students po or something na isang sample po ng group of audiences. Parang ganun po, sir.
Okay. Yung iba. Ayan, sige, reveal natin. Actually, the answer is letter C. Miss Leva, who is computing the final grade of the student after completing all their requirements. So yung letter A kasi, it's more of testing. Okay? Yung letter B naman, counting the scores obtained by the students in his test. That's measurement. Okay? So yung letter D naman, planning for a remedial instruction after knowing that students perform poorly in her test, that is evaluation. Bakit si letter C po yung nag-a-assessment? It's because, diba, we make use of assessment as a prerequisite for evaluation. Sinabi natin kanina. So do you hear sa ating problem number 1 or question number 1? The way on nag-compute ng grade si Ms. Leva, it could be a basis for the decision making or for the evaluation purpose later on. Right? So it's more of assessing the learning of the students through the final grade that he or she is preparing. So that's why for number 1, it is letter C. Okay, who got number 1 correctly? Meron po ba? Raise hand nga po. I would like to see. Ayan, kailangan talaga when you do answer Prof. Ed questions, kailangan yung himay-himayin yung idea. Okay? Per choices or per choice na meron kayo sa problem. Proceed tayo with number 2. I would like to hear Mr. Dimla for this. Mr. Dimla, can you read and answer? Ay, wala daw mic si Sir Dimla. Can we have Mr. Ilunio to answer this?
Am I loud and clear, sir?
Yes, sir.
So number 2, Mr. Fernandez is judging the accuracy of these statements Which statements will he consider as correct? 1. Test is a tool to measure a trait. 2. Measurement is the process of qualifying a given trait. 3. Assessment is the gathering of a quantitative and qualitative data. And 4. Evaluation is the analysis of quantitative and qualitative data for decision making. The choices are A, 1 and 2 only, B, 2 and 4 only, C, 1, 2 and 3, D, 1, 3 and 4.
Answer, please.
So my answer is letter D,
B as in
1, 3,
boy or D?
dog po, 1, 3 and
Dog. Bakit po?
Kasi parang yung, di ba yung, sa measure, pag nag-measure na, yung measurement, yung process ng qualifying a given trait sa measurement, parang hindi na po siya kasama din sa
Bakit
answer.
po?
Wala, yun lang yung ano ko, sir.
Sige, reveal natin. Actually, the correct answer here is
1 and 2 only.
1 and 2 only. Why? Because yung 3 and 4, isa-isay natin yung hindi napili muna. Obviously kasi yung test, di ba? It's a tool to measure a characteristic or a trait. Yung measurement is the process of qualifying and quantifying a given trait, a given characteristic. Bakit hindi po si 3 and 4 kasali? It's because assessment is not gathering of quantitative and qualitative data. Diba? It's more of measurement. And then evaluation is the analysis of quantitative. It's not. It is assessment. Right? So therefore, 1 and 2 are the statements which are correct. Ayan. Very, diba? So kailangan nyo talagang i-interpret mabuti, isa-isa, i-break in yung knowledge na meron kayo para talaga makuha nyo yung correct answer. Okay? Okay lang yan. So we still have rooms for improvement pa naman talaga. Okay? Kaya-kaya pa yung true readings. Basa, basa, and basa. Okay, let's try number 3. Volunteer please from other college or other. Nakuha po ba ng tama? Yung number 2 natin. Okay, sige. Would like to try number 3. Volunteer please. You can click your raise your hand button. Sige, can we have Armida Cas for number 3? Miss Cas.
Number 3, which is referred to as assessment of learning.
Your
So,
answer
Answer
please.
will be letter B,
What's your answer? Read first po. Letter B is?
summative assessment.
Okay, so correct. The answer is summative assessment because sabi rito, assessment of learning. So when we are talking about the learning per se, the process of assessing the learning per se, it is a summative assessment. Diba remember, sa different forms of assessment, sino ang recorded? Si summative because this is the basis for the students' learning. Nakuha po ba ito? Did you get number 3 correctly?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Let's proceed with number 4. Number 4, can we hear it from tayo? Mr. Rodmar Bandoho, BPED 4A. Mr. Bandoho, unmute yourself.
Yes, sir.
Okay, read and answer. Number 4.
Number 4. Which attribute belongs more to the additional assessment? A. Performing a task. B. Selecting a response. C. Direct evidence. D. Or real life. Sir, performing task, sir.
Performing a task.
A task.
How about yung iba? Sige, yung iba, you can key in your answer sa chat box para makita natin. What is your answer, class? Ayan, may sumagot ng B. May sumagot ng C. So actually, the traditional assessment, di ba, is choosing a response or selecting a response. Diba? So performing a task, diba? Direct evidence and real life could be what? Can be belonging to more of the performance, right? Which could be attributed to authentic assessment. Tandaan, kapag traditional, di ba, dito pumapasok yung paper and pen test. Objective type of tests. Di ba? So that's why it is selecting a response. Nakukuha po ba? May nagsagot B or A. Sa let, hindi po pwedeng B or A. It's only one answer. Okay? Sige, next, number 5. Number 5, volunteer please. Can we have Mr. Aldrin Alum? Mr. Alum, unmute yourself.
Yes, sir.
Okay, read and answer number 5, please.
Number 5, between a driver who passed the written test but failed the driving test and one who passed the driving test but failed the written test, the latter is generally preferred, but most preferred is one who passed both written and driving test. What does this imply about assessment practice? Letter A, authentic assessment is preferred to traditional assessment. B, traditional assessment is more reliable than authentic assessment. C, traditional assessment supplements authentic assessment. And letter D, traditional and authentic assessments cannot adequately measure what is intended to be measured. And I answered letter A.
Letter A.
Authentic assessment is preferred to traditional assessment.
Okay, so kasi parang pinapakita rito, di ba? The idea, so i-translate na natin into concept. So yung una kasi pinapakita, di ba? Driver who passed the written test. It's more of the traditional. Di ba? Pumasa sa test, failed sa authentic, sa driving. Pero yung isa naman, di ba? Yung isa, pumasa saan? Sa driving, pero bumagsak sa written. So pumasa sa pinaka-authentic test assessment, pero bumagsak sa traditional. So ano yung implication daw? So technically, the answer is letter A. Authentic assessment is preferred to traditional assessment. So lagi nyo tatandaan, because of the characterization of traditional, mas pinopromote natin in learning, in the teaching and learning process, yung authentic assessment, because this is more of testing the skills acquired, testing the knowledge acquired by your students. Okay, so nakaka 5 items na tayo so far. What is your score? Paki-type in nga po sa ating chat box ang scores na meron kayo. Okay, honesty is the best policy ha. Over 5, nakakailan na po? And 3 over 5, 3, 2, how about yung iba? Scores, ayan, 3, we have 4 over 5. Okay, good results. Tuloy lang natin. Next, number 6. Can we have Miss Buen Suceso for number 6? Miss Buen Suceso. Unmute yourself.
Rinig po.
Yes po, loud and clear.
What does teaching to the test mean? A. Teachers teach by focusing primarily on those that will be tested. B. Teachers teach in such a way that students perform well on meaningful tasks. C. Teachers use tests to teach. D. Teachers begin and end instruction with a test.
Answer.
Ko po is B. Teachers teach in such a way that students perform well on meaningful tasks.
Okay ha, I'll read the phrase. Teaching to the test. What does it mean? Very literal yung translation. Teaching to the test. It means teachers, letter A, teachers teach by focusing primarily on those that will be tested. So you only apply, right, yung mga teaching mo, particularly sa kung ano yung mga dapat i-test. So that is what is meant by teaching to the test. Okay? How about number 7? Sige, okay lang yan. Mas may enhance your pen further as you do readings of your theories or yung mga lessons natin. Okay, number 7, who'd like to read and answer? Can we have John Renz Gregorio from Mika Ed 4A? John Renz, letter number 7, please. Mr. John Renz.
Opo, sir.
Hello, loud and clear. Read and answer 7, please.
Assessment should be multiple and varied. What does this mean? Number 1, sufficient number of samples of student performance must be obtained. Number 2, use different tools to determine students' application of learning. Number 3, cater to the multiple intelligence.
What's your
Letter A.
answer?
Wait lang po, sir. Letter B po, sir.
Your answer is letter B, 1 and 3 only.
Yes po.
So actually, the answer is letter D, 1, 2, and 3. Bakit? Isa-isay natin. Sufficient number. Of course, since we're talking about the multiplicity and the variety of assessment, so dapat sufficient yung number of samples ng student performance natin. Number 2, use different tools. Kaya nga siya varied, diba? So that's why we need to use different tools. Kaya pasok din si 2. And of course, since you're talking about multiple and varied, so dapat pumasok dito yung pag-cater natin sa multiple intelligences ng ating student. So that's why the correct answer is letter D, 1, 2, and 3. Okay po? How about number 8? Number 8 would like to try. Number 8. Let's have Desiril Pasqua of BEd 4B. Miss Desiril?
Hello po.
Hello. Yes po.
Which are the true of a portfolio? By means of a portfolio. 1, the teachers can access the growth and development of the students at various levels. 2, students can display any work they want to display. 3, parents have a concrete picture of their children's progress in school. 4, instructional supervisor have a concrete basic in evaluating their academic program.
Answer please.
D, sir.
Letter B. Am I
D
right?
po. D.
Boy.
D.
1 and
Dog
3.
po.
A
Dog.
dog. 3 and 4. Okay, correct. Actually, the correct answer is letter D. We have 3 and 4. So our focus will be that the parents will have a big picture, particularly a concrete picture of their children's progress. Kasi, di ba, pinapakita doon yung mga artifacts na output ng mga students, and also the different supervisors could somehow use this as a concrete basis for evaluating different academic programs. Bakit hindi 1 and 2? Yung 1, the teacher can assess the growth and development of the students at various levels. So technically, hindi naman totally various levels, right? In what sense? So it could only assess, di ba, kung ano yung pinaka-focus ng portfolio na pinrepare ni student. And number 2, bakit hindi siya kasama, can display any work they want. Of course, di ba, yung best work lang ang nilalagay ni students sa kanilang portfolio. So we have 3 and 4. Next, number 9. Would like to read and answer number 9. Let's have Dadis Christine Joy of BEd 4A. Miss Dadis, unmute yourself. Hello, Miss Dadis.
Parinig po, sir.
Yes po.
9, teacher roles likes to determine whether or not a student is able to focus the microscope according to set standards. Microscope according to set standards. Which assessment tool will she use? A, performance checklist, B, self-report, C, oral questioning, or D, observation report. D po, sir.
Letter Pakibasa kung ano yung ano kasama ng letter.
The observation report.
Okay, so actually, ang dapat is performance checklist. So you have the list of standards and then i-check natin kung na-perform yon ng ating estudyante. So minsan mahirap gawin si observation report. Diba? So pwede tayo may ma-skip na portion or part. Unlike sa performance checklist, you are already provided with the standards that you need to see or na dapat i-perform ng ating students. Okay? So of course, hindi papasok yung oral questioning at saka self-report. So automatically, dapat nagsisense of elimination kayo with the choices. Okay? For number 9, the answer is letter A. Next, number 10. Please read and answer, Mr. Ramos, Bren. Mr. Ramos.
Number 10. Read this test item, then answer the question. Criterion reference test. A refers to how a test is constructed. B refers to how a test is interpreted. C refers to how a test is scored. D refers to how a passing score is established. What is wrong with the test item? A, very easy. B, repeated options. C, no answer. D, poor grammar. Letter A po, sir.
It's very easy. So let's do some sense of elimination. So among the 4 choices, ang una natin pwedeng i-eliminate will be the poor grammar because okay naman yung grammar. And then yung no answer because obviously there is an answer. So you were down to 2 choices. Very easy, repeated options. So actually, the answer is repeated options. Na-repeat ang alin? Yung portion ng option mo na refers to what? Refers to how, refers to how, refers to how, refers to how, refers to how. So a repeated portion of the option. So pwede siyang further na ma-craft na hindi masyadong redundant yung choices. I hope you got it, class. Okay? So far, out of 10, what is your score? Edu. Sige, type in your scores, please. 5. How about yung iba? 6, may 5, may 6 out of 10, may 7 out of 10, may 5, may 6. Okay? Tuloy lang natin. Next, number 11. I'd like to answer number 11. Number 11, please. Angeline Lenobo. Please read and answer, Miss Lenobo. Miss Lenobo, unmute yourself. Hello, Miss Lenobo, you're on mute. Sige, later on we'll go back with you, Miss Lenobo. Can we just have Miss Pasqua? Sige, Miss Pasqua is raising hand. Ay, okay. You're already called nga pala kanina. Sige. Naduling si Sir. Meron ka tabi. Ayun, De La Torre. Redeline De La Torre. Miss De La Torre.
Number 11. Read the test item that answer the question. The population of Denmark is about A, 2 million, B, 15 million, C, 4 million, D, 7 million. What is a flow with the test item? A, options not sequence, B, insignificant, C, irrelevant, D, limited option. The answer must be letter A, sir. Option not sequence.
Okay, very good. The options are not sequence, obviously. Okay, correct. Let's proceed with the next, number 12. Number 12. Can we have other volunteers, please? Yeah, may nagre-raise hand. Yes, Queen Elizabeth Jansson. Read and answer 12.
Number 12, a teacher constructs a test blueprint prior to writing items for a test to ensure test blank. Letter A, validity. B, scorability. Letter C, reliability. D, fairness. The answer is A, validity.
Very good. The answer is validity. To ensure test validity. Ano ba ulit yung validity? Measuring what the test is supposed to measure. So dapat guided tayo with the TOS. Okay? That's why we do writing or constructing first the test blueprint. Okay, well said. Next, number 13. Volunteer for number 13. If you want to answer, raise hand button lang po. Ayan, Angel Joyce Berdin. Miss Berdin, read and answer.
Good afternoon po.
Good afternoon.
The learning specialist administers a set of tests to identify specific weaknesses in Nick's learning processes. These type of tests are known as blank tests. The answer is letter A, diagnostic.
Okay, because the focus is to identify weakness, it is diagnostic test. Very good. Okay? I hope you got it right, class. To diagnose. Okay? So diagnostic test. Next, number 14. Volunteer, please. Number 14. Read and answer. 14. Anyone? You can raise your hand button or click the raise hand button. Sige, can we have Miss Villas, Dorothy Joy. Miss Dorothy Joy Villas. Unmute yourself, Miss Villas.
Hello, sir.
Hello. Read and answer number 14, please.
Which is the feature of an imperfect matching type of a test? A, an answer may be repeated. B, the item in the two columns are not equal. C, items on the left and right columns have one-to-one correspondence. D, its premises are vague. Letter C po.
Okay, one-to-one correspondence. Actually, from the word imperfect. So ako kung ako yung papipiliin, automatically tanggal na sa akin, its premises are vague. Tanggal na rin sa akin yung items on the left and right columns of one-to-one correspondence kasi we're talking about imperfect matching type. So actually, the correct answer is letter A. An answer may be repeated. Okay? So ilagay na sa ating mga brain cells, when we are talking about imperfect matching type, we can repeat an answer. Okay, next, number 15. Anyone? Can we have Carla Halober? Miss Carla Halober, unmute yourself. Miss Carla Halober, unmute yourself.
Good afternoon po,
Good
sir.
afternoon.
Number 15, which is our non-restricted essay test items? 1. Should the lawmaker's pork barrel be abolished? 2. What is meant by pork barrel? 3. Trace the origin of pork barrel in the Philippines. My answer is letter A po, sir.
Why? Sige nga, why?
Among po dun sa mga naging choices po kasi, sir, I think siya lang po yung answerable ng based on sa opinion po, sir.
Okay, well said. Kasi yung what is meant by pork barrel, it has a definite answer. Same with the tracing of the origin of pork barrel in the Philippines. It has a definitive answer. Only Roman numeral 1 has an answer that could be expressed based on the opinion of the test taker. So that's why the answer is letter A, Roman numeral 1 only. Okay? So far, nakaka-15 items na tayo. What is your score? Please type in your score out of 15, class. Out of 15, we have 10. How about yung iba? 10, 7 out of 15, 8, 10, 7, 8. Okay, how about yung the rest? Type in your scores. Okay, Malia, still there is always a room for improvement. Okay? Sige, tuloy natin. Number 16. Volunteer, please. Can we have Mr. Tubang? Mr. Tubang. Unmute yourself. Mr. Jocomar Tubang. Mr. Jocomar. Okay, mukhang meron siyang technicality issues. Can we have... Sige, Carlo De Jesus. Can we have Mr. De Jesus to answer number 16, please?
Hello po, sir.
Hello.
Number 16, validity is a unitary concept. What does this expression mean? Different types of tests are brought together to form a single valid assessment. B, a valid test is one that has a single purpose. C, there are no different kinds of validity, just different kinds of evidence of validity. D, a valid test is one that has universal application, a variety of situations.
Answer, please.
Wait lang, sir. Letter C po, sir.
Okay, correct. So actually, pag sinabi nating validity, walang iba't ibang klase ng validity. Still, there is a unitary concept. Isa lang yung konsepto ng validity, but we have different kinds of evidences for validity. So that is what is meant by validity, is a unitary concept. Okay, good, Carlo. How about number 17? Would like to read and answer number 17. Can we have Carpio Germain? Carpio Germain, read and answer number 17. Unmute yourself. Carpio. Miss Carpio Germain. Okay, mukhang nagkakaroon ng technicality issue si Miss Carpio. Let's have other volunteers. Let's have Mr. Reniel Davas. Mr. Davas, can you unmute yourself from BSE Math 4B? Mr. Davas.
Sir,
Okay, read and answer 17, please.
number 17, sample question frames such as what would you infer, what ideas can you add to, and how would you create? A, belong to what level in the old Bloom's taxonomy? Letter A po, sir.
Is it application? Actually, ang key term nyo dyan is create. Diba? Anong level ang may katumbas ng level na creating? Kasi diba sa Bloom's, revised Bloom's taxonomy, diba meron tayong creating. So the answer is synthesis. So yun yung mga word clues na dapat hinahanap nyo with the problem. The word clue here is create. So sa ating revised version ng Bloom's taxonomy, it is creating. And then if you find the translation of it in the old or in the Bloom's taxonomy natin, it is synthesis. Okay? Next number 18. Volunteer, please. Number 18. Can we have Mr. Charles Almacen? Mr. Almacen. Okay, mukhang may problema si Mr. Almacen. Can we have Christine Joy De Leon for number 18? Of BSE English 4A. Ms. De Leon?
Hello po.
Hello na. Yes, loud and clear.
If you ask questions that will make students identify the organization and patterns within a system by identifying its component parts, you are asking questions on what level of Bloom's taxonomy?
Okay. Answer.
My answer is letter B.
What is letter B? D as in dog, evaluation. Am I right?
Yes po.
Actually, answer is analysis. The key term here is identifying organization and patterns within a system by identifying component parts, 'di ba? So, 'di ba kanina sinabi natin when you break down something into its component parts, it is analysis. Yung kabaliktaran niya, 'di ba? You combine to make something new, synthesis. So here it's breaking down into component parts. So this is analysis. Okay? So again, like what I said, ang tip ko dito, try to look for keywords, key concepts na pwede nyong magamit. Okay? Number 19, please. Can we have number 19? Miss Ferrer. Cristel Ann. Miss Ferrer. Answer, please, Miss Ferrer. Or read and answer first. Hello, you're loud and clear.
Number 19, one of the test items constructed by teacher Gina was method of being biased. This happens when blank. A. Students of equal ability with different demographic characteristics have an equal probability of answering an item correctly. B. Students with different demographic characteristics have an equal probability of answering an item correctly. C. Students who have different levels of knowledge and skills have an equal probability of answering an item correctly. Letter D. Students with equal exposure to the content being tested have an equal probability of answering an item correctly. My answer is letter D. Actually, sir, nakita ko na yung sagot, pero my answer is letter D.
Okay, actually, the correct answer dito, mag-sense of elimination kayo, obviously matatanggal dyan yung B and C. Kasi nakalagay equal probability of answering an item correctly. Equal probability of answering item correctly. Biased nga. 'Di ba? So, biased. So, ibig sabihin, ang ating pagpipilian na lang will be A and D. Pero, makikita natin na sa content, it is students' responsibility, di ba, to be exposed to the teaching. So, hindi yun. It's not teacher's bias. Kasi dito ang sabi si Teacher Gina raw yung nagiging bias. So, therefore, ang magiging correct answer will be letter A. So, equal yung ability, different yung demographic characteristics, tapos unequal yung chances na makakuha ng tamang sagot. So that's letter A. Okay? So just like again I said, try to break down the concepts per choices so that you'll be able to get the correct answer. Okay, proceed tayo with number 20. Number 20. Let's have Miss Martin, Charisse. Charisse?
Yes, sir.
Number 20, please.
Okay po. Multiple choice test can be used to test the ability to 1. Recall memorized data. 2. Apply theory to everyday situation. 3. Apply theory to novel situations. 4. Use judgment in analyzing, weighing, and evaluating. Ano ba sagot ko dito?
Answer po?
D. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, correct. So lahat yan pwedeng gawin or gampanan ni multiple choice. Pwede niyang i-recall ang memorized data, pwede siya mag-apply ng theory to everyday situation, pwede siya mag-apply ng theory to novel situations, and pwede mo rin siyang gamitin for judging or judgment in analyzing, weighing, and evaluating. Okay, so ganon kagandang klase ng test si multiple choice test. Okay? Next, number 21. Number 21. Dito hindi ako tatawag na math major. Number 21. Sige. What is the median? I just need to hear your answer.
Ako, sir.
I don't want to call math majors. I would like to call other students. Sige. Bautista Joffrey. Bautista Joffrey. What is the median?
Narinig po, sir.
Yes po. Loud and clear.
Study the given score distribution, then answer the question below. What is the median? A 14, B 15, C 16, D 17. Sagot ko po, sir, B po, 15.
B15. How about yung iba? What is the answer? Yes, it is 15. So i-arrange nyo muna siya from highest to lowest. And when you arrange it from highest to lowest, kunin nyo lang yung gitna. Since 9 yung score, ang gitna niya yung pang 5. And ang magiging pang 5 dyan is 15. That's good. Next, number 22. Number 22, I would like to hear it from...
Sir, ako po, sir.
Ayoko nga ng math major. Math major yung kilala ko boses nyo eh. Math majors, X muna kayo dito. Sige, let's have Mansilungan, Samantha.
Good afternoon po.
Good afternoon.
Number 22, study the given score distribution, then answer the question below. What is the mean? Letter A po, sir.
Okay, so ang gagawin mo lang, add mo yung lahat ng score, divide mo by 9. And the answer is 23.55. Correct. Next, number 23. Naval Rico, 23. Answer number 23.
Good afternoon po, sir.
Good afternoon.
Study the given score distribution, then answer the question below. Is there a mode? A, yes. B, yes, there are 3. C, yes, only 15. D, yes, only 1. 12. Letter B po, sir.
Yes, there are 3. Okay, bakit 3? 3 times nag-appear, pero sino yung nag-appear ng 3 times, Mr. Naval? Alin score ang nag-appear ng 3 times? Kapag mode, we're not talking about the number of times. We're talking about the number that appeared many times. So what's the answer? I won't reveal yet the answer. Other volunteers, please. Yes, Miss Turbohol, Jason.
Hi, sir. Good afternoon po.
Good
My
afternoon.
answer po is letter C.
Okay, actually the answer is letter C. Yes, only 1 and that is 15. So hindi 3, okay? 3 times nag-appear si 15 but the mode is 15. Let us be clear with that. Okay? Sige, sunod. Next, number 24. Number 24, would like to read and answer? Anyone? Volunteer, please. Okay, volunteer. Sige, tawag tayo. Morla Isabella. Miss Morla from BCAED. Unmute yourself. Read and answer number 24. Okay, mukhang may technicality issues. Sige, let's have Mary Jane Azada from BSE Social Studies. Miss Azada, read and answer number 24. Miss Azada, unmute yourself. You're on mute. Okay, mukhang nagkakaroon ng technicality issues sila. Or baka mamaya ako pala yung wala. Am I still with you, class?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sige, volunteer please. Sige, let's have Darilyn Burgos of BEd 4A. Miss Burgos?
Yes, sir. Study the given score distribution, then answer the question below. So in this case, which is or are a more appropriate measures of central tendency? Sir, letter A po, mean.
Letter A mean. Sige nga, reveal natin. So actually, it is mode and median. Bakit po? Sige nga, I would like to hear the reason from math major. Bakit hindi? Sino
Sir.
po yun? Apelido?
Martin.
Sige, Martin. Bakit hindi mean?
Sir, kasi yung mode and median, pareho siyang nag-appear na 15. So, mas appropriate measure siya since pareho
Okay.
sila. Since yung mean natin is
Bakit hindi
medyo
mean?
iba yung niya, yung medyo po kasi mataas po kasi yung isang
Okay.
value nung isang score.
Ano
So
po yun? Anong value yon?
Yung 90 po.
Okay, very good. Because there is an extreme score. Lagi nyo tatandaan, class, if there is an extreme score, it is inappropriate to use mean. Okay, so mapapansin nyo, 15, 18, 16, 14, 15, 15, 12, 17, 90. So bigla may napakataas na 90. So kapag gano'n ang situation, it is inappropriate to use mean. Therefore, ang pinaka-appropriate na gamitin will be mode and median. Clear tayo doon, Edu? Okay,
Yes,
so
sir.
sige, tuloy natin. Number 25. Number 25, would like to read an answer? Gusto ko may iba naman. Sige, can we hear it from John Paulo Tenorio? John Paulo Tenorio.
Good afternoon po, sir.
Good afternoon.
Number 25. The scores are in the middle in blank. Score distribution. Letter A, normal. Letter B, mesocortic. Letter C, leptocortic. Letter D, platycortic. My answer is letter A, normal.
Is it normal? Actually, leptocortic. Nasa gitna daw karamihan yung score. Kaya siya matangkad. So kung idodraw natin yung pinaka-curve, patulis yan. So that's why it is letter C, leptocortic. Take note of that ha, kasi ang sabi, scores are in the middle. Nasa gitna. So there definitely patulis or patusok ang pinaka-curve natin, and yung itsura ng ganong graph or curve is leptocortic. Okay, take note of that. Next, number 26. 26, volunteer please. Anyone? Other volunteers? Read and answer. Can we have Miss Duwayan, Christine Era? Unmute yourself, please.
Good afternoon po. Dinig
Good
po ako.
afternoon. Yes, loud and clear, anak.
Try lang po, sir.
Okay,
Which is
go.
of the positively skewed distribution? A, most scores are high. B, most scores are low. C, test may be easy. Or D, students learn very much. My answer, sir, will be letter B po, most scores are low.
Okay, so technically, since positively skewed siya, yung pinaka-kurbada natin is nasa low scores. Kaya most scores are low. Correct, Ms. Dawaya. Next, number 27. Would like to read number 27. 27. Can we have... Okay, hanap tayo ng iba. Can we have Libores, Jaybert? Jaybert Libores. Mr. Libores?
Yes, sir.
Read and answer 27, please.
Apo, number 27, if a given score distribution is a normal curve, which of the following applies? First, unimodal. Second, symmetrical. Just as many people above the mean as below the mean. Number 3, bell-shaped. Fourth, mean, mode, and median are all located in the center. My
Okay.
answer is letter C.
2, 3, and 4. Okay? So actually, the answer is 1, 2, 3, and 4. So unimodal, isa lang ang mode. Symmetrical siya. Ibig sabihin, kung ilan yung bilang ng nasa left or yung below mean, ganun din yung bilang ng nasa right or above the mean. And then bell-shaped. And at the same time, si mean, si mode, si median, lahat ay nasa center. Always remember that, Edu. Okay? So ang sagot for 27 is 1, 2, 3, and 4. Next, 28. Number 28, I'd like to try. Can we have Jerome Baria? Mr. Baria? Mr. Baria? Unmute yourself, Mr. Baria. Okay, baka nagkakaroon ng problema si Mr. Baria. Can we have Miss Bastillada, Jiffer, love? Miss Jiffer? Hello, good afternoon.
Study the tabular data, then answer the question below. Which is the best question? Letter A, question number 1. Letter B, question number 2. Letter C, question 3. Letter D, answer.
Okay. What is your answer, Miss Jiffer? Medyo nag-ano yung connection.
Letter C po.
Letter C, correct. Ang titignan mo dyan, difficulty index, then the discrimination index. So difficulty index, 0.60. So okay lang naman, average type of question. Then when it comes to the discrimination index, nagdi-discriminate siya ng mga nasa upper group and the lower group. That's why it is one of the best question. Or should we say, it is considered to be the best question. Okay? How about number 29? Ito nasa DepEd order to. Siningit ko lang. Gusto ko lang tingnan kung alam ninyo. How about number 29? Anyone from the class? Can we have Mr. Leshido Joselito from BPED to 4A? Unmute yourself.
Hindi po ba, sir?
Yes po, loud and clear.
So, number 29 po, what is the threshold percentage of prescribed number of school days that must be missed by a learner for him or her to obtain a failing grade? A, 10%, B, 15%, letter C, 20%, letter D, 25%. So, my answer po, sir, is letter A, 10%.
Okay. Actually, it is 20%. So according to DepEd order, kapag daw ang isang estudyante na absent niya na ay 20% ng total number of school days in a school year, pwede na siyang makatanggap ng failing grade. Okay? Take note of that. So kung 200 ang school days, umabsent ng estudyante natin ng 40, okay? So, pwede na siya automatically mag-receive ng failing grade. As simple as that. Okay? And then the last question, number 30. Anyone? Any volunteer? Ayan, Mr. John Dem Santos. Mr. John Dem?
Yes, good afternoon po.
Good afternoon.
Math grades of grade 10 students in school A is a function of the following: written works 40%, performance tasks 40%, and quarterly assessment is 20%. What can be inferred from school A's grading system? Letter A, grades are hardly earned by every student. Letter B, grades are not important. Letter C, grades is a function of multiple scores. Sources. Letter D, failing a student is demotivating. I think it's letter C, grades is a function of multiple scores.
Okay, very good. So actually, mapapakita sa atin with the situation in the problem that the grades came from written works 40%, performance task 40%, quarterly assessment 20%. So we can conclude that grade is a function of multiple sources. Okay, I hope you got it correctly. So now, how many is your correct answer? Or what is your score, class? Tignan niya natin. Please type in our box or chat box your score out of 30. So some got 21. Meron naka 22. Some got 22 out of 30. Some got 20 out of 30. May naka 20 over 30, 22, 18. Wow, 26 over 30. That's good, Mr. Esponilla of BEd 4A. How about, again, may naka 19, 15, 18, 17, 14. We also have 20. So like I said, para makakuha ng passing score, at least 75% of 30, 23 for you to pass this practice exercise. Okay, so far, do you have questions with our review session for assessment 1 and assessment 2? Edu graduates of CMU?
None.
None. So by the way, I'll be sharing these PowerPoint slides with Dean, and then si Dean na lang yung magpo-forward or magsisave po sa isang Google Drive. Alam ko ganun yung approach na ginagawa po ni Dean Tongko. With that, thank you very much for attending our session today. So medyo maaga po tayong natapos, and tingnan nga natin if Dean around.
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Ayan po.
Thank you so much.
Thank you po, Dean, and congratulations in advance, Edu graduates. I'm now turning over the floor to our Dean. Salamat po.
Thank you po, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you po.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you po, sir.
Thank you po.
Thank you po, sir.
Thank you po, sir. Thank you po.
Dati kasi di ba, wala pong pamerienda.
Thank you po.
Thank you po.